Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words my brethren all around the world watching this video. Hope you're having a great day today as you're tuning in. Make sure you do yourself a damn favor and hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Now, let's get into it, the heavyweight division, because there's a couple of big things going on in the heavyweight division. We'll start with this first, okay? It was reported as yesterday. I found out this myself, and I was delighted, elated. Any positive adjective you can think of to describe what I was feeling. That's how I felt for this fight in regards to the heavyweight division. Because this right here, what I'm talking to you guys about, this is probably one of the biggest matchups the heavyweight division could make outside the champions or outside the top 10, so to speak. And that comes in the form of Daniel Dubois versus Joyce, and they're saying that they're going to be fighting for the British heavyweight title. The purse bids have been ordered for April the 10th, and overall, I'm really delighted to hear this news, because these are two guys in Dubois and Joyce that, in terms of boxing fans and boxing experts and whatnot, these guys are very highly regarded fighters. Joyce, an Olympian. Joyce, a guy that is getting a lot of publicity and a lot of just shine right now because of the performances he's been turning in, and then you got Daniel Dubois, a guy that everybody and their mom is pegging to be the next heavyweight champion. This is a guy that some people say he could be better than Joshua down the future, and they might say that they see him being the guy to beat Joshua down the line. He is a very good fighter. Some people swear up and down, like most notably my father swears up and down that Daniel Dubois will be that guy, and he'll be a dominant champion at that. So that's a fight that I'm very interested in, and obviously, all they did was order the fight. They didn't actually finalize a date, venue, TV network, or anything like that. But both fighters' teams have expressed their intents to make the fight happen. Frank Warren said that he will reach out to Joyce's team following Daniel Dubois' April 27th fight, and Joyce's Sam Jones, who worked with Joyce, stated that Joyce is absolutely elated himself that they've ordered this fight for the British heavyweight title. He actually, to quote him verbatim, he said, this is what Joyce told Sam Jones. He said, I quote, "Make the fucking fight happen." Those were his exact words. So that's what it is, man. Joyce, Daniel Dubois, two of boxing's brightest heavyweight prospects at the moment. They seem, as it stands right now, because again, I've always said in boxing, until you have a date, a venue, a time, a TV network, all that, until you hear that and you see the poster with their names on it, like Dubois Joyce or Joyce Dubois, whatever they call it, whatever they're gonna call it, until you see that, you can't really get too excited. But it's good that the British Boxing Board of Control has ordered this fight, because these are guys that a lot of people are expecting a lot out of, and in the case of Joyce, Joyce doesn't really have time to mess about. He's in his 30s. He had a long amateur career. This is a guy in Joyce that he's been pursuing fights with Jarrell Miller. Miller didn't want to fight him. He's going to fight King Kong Ortiz. That fell through. So good for him to fight a guy like Dubois. And for Dubois, this is a guy that he just, literally just this week, I remember I was reading it just this week on Michael Benson's Twitter account. He just this week cracked his first top 15 in any sanctioning body, as he is now rated 15 in the WBO, or no, ranked number 13 by the WBO. And obviously this comes off the heels for Dubois after he just won the WBO European belt by beating the always tough and very game Razvan Kajanu. So it's a good style matchup too. Joyce likes to come forward. He throws a lot of punches. He places them well. When you watch Joyce fight, you see a guy who was very well schooled as an amateur. And for Dubois, Dubois is someone that he's kind of cut from that Anthony Joshua mold. He's a big heavyweight, big and powerful, boxer, puncher. And I don't like throwing that term around, but that's the style he fights with. Boxer, puncher. Got a really good jab, good fundamentals. Big and muscular, has an athletic build. So it is one of those good fights, and it's going to be a great style matchup. And honestly, I'll say this, man, this fight right here between Dubois and Joyce, it's better than a lot of fights that can be made in the top 15 of the heavyweight division. And I'm not even playing with you guys. Like, these two guys right here fighting each other is probably better than most of the matchups that could happen in the top 15 of the heavyweight rankings. And I don't say that lightly. You know, both these guys, by many people in boxing, are pegged to be world champions. But then, you know, this is a fight for the British heavyweight title. So, you know, whoever wins this fight will have conquered the British scene, and they can push on towards either the European level or, you know, potentially the world level, you know. In the case of Joe Joyce, you would figure if he wins this fight against Dubois, you know, you have just scored a win over a massively huge and very hyped up prospect in Daniel Dubois. You know, you're going to have the confidence to go out there and push on to the world level. And I think Joe Joyce is already good enough to push on to the world level. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the guy was trying to fight Jarrell Miller and Luis Ortiz, and neither one of them happened. You know, Miller didn't want to fight him, and I think Abel Sanchez, his trainer, said that he didn't think he was ready for Ortiz yet, so those fights fell through. Those opportunities fell through, but he had the ambition, the intent to want to go fight those guys. As for Dubois, you know, if he beats Joe Joyce, then I just see him continue to crack on European level. You know, he's a guy that Frank Warren isn't going to just, you know, rush his development. He's not going to rush any of that stuff with Dubois, because Dubois is one of his future champs. You know, it's the guy that's going to make him money and do all that stuff. Now, to be fair, I'll be honest with you, the fight itself is going to be great. I can't wait for the fight itself. The press conference and the presser, you know, I don't expect much out of that, because no disrespect to Dubois or Joe Joyce, these are not two of the more talkative guys. In fact, these are probably two of the least talkative boxers in the whole sport. You know, who was it? Nathan Gorman, you know, fellow heavyweight prospect pushing on in the UK. He even said about Daniel Dubois recently. He said that Daniel Dubois has a personality of a rock, you know, and it is what it is. These guys aren't ones to mince their words, but you know, at the end of the day, they call the boxing ring the chamber of truth, and that's really what matters, the fight itself. And Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, I mean, what better fight? Name me a better fight. I mean, let's go through it. I actually want to think about this for myself. You know, what better fight could be made outside the top 15, you know, than these guys, you know, or even in the there's fights in the top 10 that are not even as good as these guys. I mean, for Christ's sakes, like, do you guys think that Dominic Breazeale versus Joseph Parker would be better than this fight? I don't think so. Or how about Pulev versus you know, Adam Kaunaki? Is that gonna, you know, maybe that's a better fight? I don't know, but I'm just saying this is a high quality fight, and I think the winner of this fight, has a great chance to go on to be world champion. You know, I'm not gonna lie, off the rip, if I had to pick a guy in this fight, I really like Dubois. I think Dubois has all the tools to be a world champion. I think he's got the right composure. So does Joe Joyce, but I think Dubois, his ceiling is just that much higher, and he's really slowly but surely coming into his own as a fighter. He's still very young. I believe he's like 21 years old. You know, he's very, very young. Yeah, he's 21 years old. That's the crazy thing about this. You know, you got Dubois, who's 21 years old, and then you got Joe Joyce, who, you know, I believe that Joe Joyce has to be in his 30s. So it's kind of polar opposites. You got one guy who was an Olympian, who, you know, had a really good amateur career, and really has no time to mess around in the professional ranks. And then on the other side, you got a guy who is in his early 20s. I mean, for Christ's sake, he's younger than me. He's younger than me, okay? And he can take his time, but he's, you know, there's a possibility that if this fight gets signed, you know, he's gonna be thrown into a fight where, hey, you got to answer the bell now, and you got to prove to not just the boxing fans and the boxing world, but yourself, that you are worth the hype you're receiving. And I look forward. I pray to God that this fight happens, because that'll be a fight that I will 1,000% not miss. And I will definitely be live here for True School Sports to give my thoughts on it as it happens. But that's the news. The British Boxing Board of Control has, in fact, ordered a fight between Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce for the British heavyweight title. Purse bids are April the 10th. So, you know, we'll see what happens with those purse bids and if they can get a fight done before April the 10th. So, April the 10th is that date. Y'all are going to want to keep your eyes tuned to what goes on in the boxing news before then, because if they don't get the fight done before April the 10th, then it goes a purse bid, and we'll see what happens there. Anything can happen when it's purse bid. So leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.